Hi, Architect.
Hi.
Architect Miko. It's been a while.
Yes, it has.
Since we released the video of your gorgeous home, we've received a lot of messages and compliments for it, especially since you mentioned budgeting and people were very drawn to that. I'm sure you also received messages about it.
Yes, I mean, everybody's budget conscious, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So I think it's going to be a good topic to talk about today, like budgeting for your dream home.
Sure.
All right. It's nice to know that you have tips to share, so let's talk about it.
Hi, I'm Miko Delos Reyes. I'm an architect with Imagimax. I've been practicing architecture now for around 10 years, and I'm looking forward to collaborating with the Presello team on this new series.
Yay! Hey, I'm super excited. So, as Architect Miko mentioned, we are starting a new series, and today we'll be talking about starting that dream home, like actually conceptualizing it. So, I'm sure you have some concrete tips about starting your dream home.
Yes, of course. I mean, that's the first thing anyone thinks of before starting a project.
Absolutely. So, Architect, how do you start your dream home? Like, how do you start planning for it or conceptualizing it?
So I guess before you start a project, one thing you could consider is the style that you want to use for building your home. So whether that's Mediterranean, Asian, contemporary, modern,
Styles to choose from.
yeah, or even a combination of all of them, you can decide what you want to use. So let's say, for example, it's a colonial style. When you decide you want to do the colonial style, understand what that style means and extract elements from that style. So with the colonial style, it could be a column, for example, that embodies that style.
Actually, you know what? If you guys haven't seen the BYO episode yet, link is in the description. Architect Miko talks about integrating certain styles into his project as well. So that's a very good example. Okay, well, what if, and this happens to me often, like what if I can't decide on one style? What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think that's a problem that a lot of people find themselves in.
I'm sure.
So if you can't decide on one specific style, my suggestion is to pick 2 or 3 styles that complement each other in a way.
Like a
so
fusion.
Yes, exactly, a fusion. So for example, if I go to the colonial style, historically colonial styles are always a combination of 2 styles, a European and an Asian style put together. So you could use a combination similar to that.
Yeah, just make sure that each style complements each other in some way, historically speaking as well.
Another tip, guys, is once you've chosen a style and you've committed to it, stick to that style because it's easy to go off track. For example, I'm sure we all know somebody with a very modern house who might have inherited their lola's aparador or classic furniture.
Yeah.
And that could be a conflict in styles. Of course, there is a way that you could find the opportunity to make it work. But once you've chosen that style, it would be more, it'd be wiser to commit to it.
Yeah, of course. And I think this is the reason why you need to find a seasoned architect or interior designer, right?
Yes, anyone seasoned in their field with a lot of experience. And aside from that, I would suggest that you do research on that designer. Try to find out what their work's about, what their portfolio's like, so that you could align yourself with somebody with your philosophies also, with your design philosophies.
Yeah, so it's not just a cohesive design, it's also cohesive with you as a person.
Yes, exactly.
You connect it to your house.
And by design philosophies, I mean somebody that understands your values and how you operate in a daily life.
Yeah, that's another tip.
So for example, what I mean by your philosophies having to align is you find a designer that understands your values. So in some of my projects, I've had clients that value, let's say, living areas being inside and outside. So that's one of my my qualities also that I like to put into my architecture. So we see eye to eye when it comes to that. I don't have to convince them to keep areas more open.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, you share the same values
exactly.
when it comes to design.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so architect, let's say I already have my concept down, but then I have some maybe items or furniture or whatever it is lying around and I wanted to use it, but it doesn't really go well with the theme. How do I go about that?
Well, I guess it would depend first on the style you've chosen. If there's an opportunity to use it, usually we could find a way to incorporate. So
Creative
for example,
ways.
yeah, in the house, we had an old wire spool. So this was the actual wire spool that all the wires were drawn from, and it was just laying around the construction site. And I've always seen the charm of aged wood, and it was just left in the corner. And I had completed quite a number of the furniture already in the house, but I didn't have a coffee table. So I thought that wire spool was a good opportunity to try to reuse it and repurpose it into a coffee table. So I put a glass top on top of it.
And voila!
And now it's a coffee table.
Yeah, actually, we saw it earlier. It's gorgeous. So that being said, I guess you don't really need to splurge on everything, which is another tip, I guess.
Yes, exactly. I mean, if you're committed to a style, you could choose very key items in your home that you would want to spend in that complement that style. So one of the items I decided to spend on was the dining table. I really wanted everybody to be drawn to that solid wood piece, and so that's hard to come by these days, but I thought it was a very important acquisition for the house. But if you notice, even under the piece of wood itself, the legs are just repurposed steel bar from the construction. So I really just focus on the wood top itself, and we left it as raw as possible to really appreciate the grain of the wood.
Oh man, that's amazing. All right. Architect Miko, thank you so much for giving us a rundown on how to start our dream home, basically. So if you guys want to get in touch with Architect Miko,
in case you want to get in touch with me or with Imagimax, contact Presello at www.presello.com.
And if you haven't already, make sure you hit like and click subscribe if you like this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Architect, bye. Hey guys, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, make sure you click here. And if you want to see more house tour videos, click right here. And we also have this new thing called Working Lunch with Presello, where I and a few random people talk about a few random things related to real estate. So if you want to join in on the conversation, make sure you click right here.